Welcome back to, yet again, some more EToH content. I mean, I don't really make any other content, so I don't know why this seems like a surprise, but you know. Yeah, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at EToH's Citadels. I've picked 5 Citadels, which I think you should definitely do. Not as your first Citadel, but just Citadels that if you've not done, you should definitely check out. 5 of, my favourite Citadels. Well, I want to say favourite, but there is a Citadel here I'm kind of conflicted about, but I just think it's worth doing. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just say my favourites. So yes, grab some popcorn, enjoy, yeah, EToH content, kapow. Citadel of Heights and Depths is a Citadel which, honestly, I think most people just recommend to anyone. This Citadel literally has pretty much everything. It's an incredibly long experience. If you've not beaten any Citadels yet, honestly I could recommend this one. If you're good with modern gameplay, a very lengthy Citadel as well, it is pretty long, but come on, like the gameplay here is phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't really fit in Ring 3 just due to how much better of quality it has than any of the other towers here. It's just, I don't know how to describe it besides that it's just a phenomenal experience. I mean, seriously, this Citadel is a once-in-a-lifetime tower that I don't think will ever be matched quite some time, at least by some Citadels. I mean, obviously, there are some better towers out there now than this, but I do think that in terms of, classic Citadels, I do not think this tower can be outranked. It's above the charts, as they say. Okay, I know you may be looking at the Citadel and being like, how the hell is this any good? Stay with me here, okay? I did say at the start, these weren't really my favourites, nor do I think they're good. I just think this is a very good Citadel to try. Citadel of Weird Nostalgia combines gameplay from pretty much every tower made in Ring 1, 2 and 3, besides the SCs. And it combines them into such a well-flowing experience. The floors actually flow really nicely into each other. I think that might just be classic gameplay in itself, but this Citadel really sums up the first 3 rings in a bittersweet way. And I think the gameplay is just, well, it's much better than a lot of these towers originally are, because of how they're flowing in together now, and how there's been some updates to them in order to get some new challenges. This Citadel is a very good Citadel, at least for, practicing your skill. Citadel of Twists and Weirdness is another incredible Citadel in terms of just a great experience. A bit like EToH had. A little less long than EToH had, but it is still would take you probably, the average player, probably at least an hour. I mean, obviously with experience, it doesn't take as long as that, but from a first play experience, this tower, well, I say tower, it's actually a Citadel, but it kind of is a tower. It's got 10 floors. It's just obviously some gameplay and sections outside of the Citadel can make this, in a way, considered the Citadel. But either way, there's just so much wacky gameplay in here that I think would be great for players to experience. And also just a load of goofy, goofy text, goofy references. The Citadel itself is one of the funniest, most goofy EToH structures as a whole, and that's why I recommend it for pretty much anyone who's not done it before. And if they have Zone 6, obviously, then they wouldn't be able to play it. But yes, this Citadel is one of the highlights of Zone 6, and I do think that more people should be talking about it. The Citadel of Skies Recognition is probably one of the best in terms of, if you're at Remorseless difficulty, this is one you're definitely going to want to do. It's a Citadel that's got really good gameplay throughout, and it's very good at Remorseless and keeping its difficulty. And also, it practices with nerve control. A lot of this Citadel, if you've had a... well, how do I explain this? There's a large kill brick, which you might even be able to see on the screen here. And if you fall onto it, then you get transported all the way down to the first floor. This... well, a lot of gameplay suspends on top of this kill brick. So a lot of this Citadel is essentially a soft log, which is why I do think this is very good for nerve control. I also think a lot of the gameplay here is just highly good for your skill. There's a lot of complex wraps here, some complex jumps, kind of questionable, but not to the point where it's unenjoyable. This Citadel is a very good experience for people who have Remorseless skill, and I highly recommend it if you've beaten at least a few Remorselesses. Also, preferably Tower of Niflheim, considering, you know, it just takes a lot of aspects of that tower, and the two are kind of similar. The Citadel of Pyramid Escapades is genuinely one of the most creative, well thought out and well made Citadels in existence. I actually think it's probably one of the best creations ever to come out of EToH, and I still think that even with the releases of the Starlit Archives, Zone 10, Zone 9, Ashen Tower Works, like even with the most recent areas coming out with some amazing towers, this Citadel still holds up and still feels incredibly modern to this day. I mean, it is still modern, it's still like only 2 years old, but honestly I do think it can still be on par with what is being released today. And as for, you know, I'm not talking about beginners here, but people who are starting to break into the Remorseless skill range, this is a really good Citadel. I mean, it's long, it's quite challenging gameplay. However, it feels rewarding to beat. And that's what a lot of Citadels these days, or even towers these days, they don't feel that rewarding to beat. This Citadel, after the tremendous experience it puts you through, actually genuinely feels like a pure perfectionist's win. And that's what I love about it. While it may not be suitable for everyone, it's definitely suitable for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope that I was able to give you some good ideas for Citadels to do. Obviously, you know, if you think that my choices weren't good, don't like throw fits in the comments. You know, that's what a lot of you EToH players. Well, it's not EToH anymore. It's EToH. You know what I mean? It's what a lot of you EToH players like to do. I mean, I know you know, it might be a little difficult, because, you know, some Citadels I pick may be a little bit stupid. Yeah, you know, it's just a video you see on YouTube. It's not a big video. Calm down. Calm. Zen. Deep breaths. But if you do agree, let me know why, and also try and recommend some other Citadels, because I would like to know what the general population of this game thinks is good to beat if you've not done many Citadels. I was going to say laptop splitting on this list, but come on, it's what everyone tells you to do for your first Citadel. You know, I want to shed light on some of the more underrated Citadels here. I mean, obviously, you know, a couple of them aren't, but you know, there are a couple here that I think people don't shed enough light on. And yeah, that's basically it. Enough of the yap. See you later, guys. Goodbye.